Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the third game between Roligan and Singularity coming up here. Hopefully for everybody out there and everybody in here, we're not going to see the Tarek a third time in a row. This time is one of those cases where we don't say third time's a charm. And what do you guys think so far in this series?
I think it's been interesting myself. I think it's been fun to see both teams trying it out to see if it actually works in a competitive environment. I don't think it was a success. I do want to say, though, when they were able to, in the last game, Roligan and pull the trigger on the top lane, they were still far ahead or far behind, but they still got 4 kills out of it with like losing one member.
They did lose one member, but they got 4 in that one team fight that you're thinking of. And yeah, we did see what a Master Yi can do if he gets to be allowed to actually auto-hit in the team fights.
I don't know, guys. I'm not as certain they're just gonna throw that out the window right away. I think honestly, they have set it in their mind that this is OP, and losing a couple of games because of the Tarek might throw them off. It should throw them off, honestly, but I think why not? A third time might be the charm, right?
Third one is the lucky chance.
Okay, yeah, this might be the time where they actually pull it out and make it work instead of throwing the game early on. It seems like that has been the tendency, and they haven't really gotten to the point where it's really, really strong, where the Master Yi has scaled up and gotten his auto hits and auto attacks in there, and that's why for now we haven't seen a lot of success on the Tarek. But all right, so if you had to bet your own body parts here, how sure are you that they're going to actually pull out the Tarek again?
I think if they're going to pull out the Tarek, I think they're going to put it, as you said, maybe in the top lane instead. And I'm like 30% sure they could do it again. Because I think they should stop playing it. They've both lost a game with it. But I don't think that it's necessarily just the Tarek. I think it's that we have 2 teams, which are in the pick and ban phase, of course, but we have 2 teams that are really strong around their mid lane carries. And these 2 carries, when you take away that edge you get from your mid laner, then the other one just shines that more brightly.
Exactly. It's like a star.
Yeah.
Really. I totally agree. Because the top lane is usually tanks or these very split push fighter-orientated champions. So Tarek could potentially take the spot in the top as the tank frontline engager.
It's like playing solo queue with me, or flex queue if you will, and then putting me from a Nivea over to a Tarek. That's just not gonna work, guys. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Bird is the word.
Bird is the word, yeah. And maybe. Oh my God, are we gonna go ape shit again?
Give the man a banana.
I mean, I would love to see the Wukong. I don't think it was a fair assessment of the champion in the last game. Maybe.
Come on, guys. This is monkey business.
Ah, damn it. Oh,
there we go.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Called it. Right.
Ornn is a solid pick as well. So.
It's been picked 3 times already in this series alone. So yeah, Ornn is a pick that they are both willing to blind pick, it seems. They've both done it, and now it goes over to Nihus, so not this carry-oriented top lane style. That's not what they're going for.
And just to point out, when we saw it on Nihus in the first game, it was a game up against the Singed on the other side from Lips, and Lips actually had a hard time in the matchup that he should be able to be favored in. So that's going to be interesting if they're going to put out the Singed again in top lane.
Yeah, because I thought about Singed, so in the moment I see Ornn, like what comes to my mind first is Singed.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. It has been the traditional counter pick in the top lane. We do see a lot of other things coming through here. We do see Lucian coming in for Singularity as well as Scar. And on the other hand, we have the Troll in the jungle. So, yeah, Trundle.
So this is, to me, a statement from these 2 teams at least. We saw it a little bit in the earlier series as well, but this Lucian pick has not been in the meta at all, and now it's picking up steam. This is because of the new changes, both to him and items, and which means that he gets a lot stronger during the game. But where a team like GG Esports kind of shied away from the idea of the Lucian and actually won, these 2 teams both seem to enjoy the Lucian, and it's going to be a question of whether this Lucian is a thing or not. Which team is right, the one in the finals or one of these 2?
I'm also quite concerned a little bit, actually, because we've mentioned it a few times now. Alec and Raxon is like, yeah, they're like the stars. I would say so, because if you look at the way that they pick it here, I would say that Singularity has to take the top lane here to match the Ornn, and then hopefully make Raxon able to counter pick into Alec.
I think you're both right and wrong at the same time, which is commendable. But I think that they are definitely the stars, but they are not the only stars.
No.
Like this is not a team controlled by the mid laners on either side. Both the AD carriers have shown great potential, and if you go all the way back to our first season, you saw a player like Menjai really go out of his way to just tear down fights by himself. So there's a lot of potential on both sides, and we haven't really seen the top laners yet brawl it out. And we've seen Lineups especially do quite a lot of work in the top lane.
Exactly, and it seems like they're barring Nihus. They're playing for other win conditions on the side of Roligan instead, and they're putting on the tank. So maybe they're saving as that last ace. Maybe they want to save that strategy for the final and just go through with this as casually and as comfortably as they can. Right now, as I have to agree with you on the champ select part, they're gonna pick into the top lane because that's already revealed, and look to actually get a counter pick for Raxon, because I do believe Raxon is the guy making the big plays right now. And,
I agree. And when I said about the stars as well, it's more that when we refer to the two other games, and I know that you know that as well, but also that you watching as well will understand that the two last games, they were the one having a very big impact. We saw the first game with Alec on Vladimir. He did like an amazing amount of damage when you look at the charges. Like, it was insane. Ooh, so that's sort of what I refer to when I say like these two players are the stars, because when you're up against the Taric and you try to do that technique as you do with the Yi and the Taric.
Do we get it? There's still 10 seconds on the clock. This is one of the picks we were talking about earlier as being one of the things you could
Alec.
throw into the conversation
Alec,
later on. And he does pick it up.
Just get it.
Yeah.
So
So
that's going to be amazing because he's got a Cillian ultimate as well, so he can do some stuff and not get like punished that badly for it.
that is actually very interesting. Yeah, they're going to combine the Cillian as the last pick with the Ezreal, and that is, as we've seen before, a ranged matchup into the Lucian and Braum. So the support is not going to be as proficient, even though it is a kill lane with Braum and Lucian in the bottom lane here. And you'd assume that Alistar?
I think it's like sort of a placeholder, because he was like hovering some stuff fast.
What in the ass? That makes no sense.
It is a placeholder.
there we go.
Yeah.
And there we go.
I really hope it's going to be Echo.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing matchup.
We have seen Raxon on Echo before. He is very excellent at playing this champion, and that would enable them to open up for this 1-3-1. I don't know how Echo matches up into the Katarina. It does seem ideal that Katarina gets a melee matchup so that she can really elaborate on her win condition early on instead of just when she gets her first item.
Yeah.
I could honestly see them going back to what worked in the earlier game and playing this Cassiopeia one more time. It might not be the best of laning phases for a Cassiopeia, but she does get to press the advantage in the early game due to her range and her like huge damage from her Twin Fangs. So there's potential there, and then you build up this carry in the mid lane as well.
I sort of get what you're trying to say as well, because Cassiopeia, like, we know Katarina, she has a ton of damage, and the electrocute pops and her passive and stuff, like, it hurts. But Cassiopeia as well, they have a really good scaling team already, and if they decide to take Cassiopeia, she has a lot of good sustain as well in lane with the Twin Fangs, so that could maybe push it through, even though the laning phase itself will probably hurt a bit. But if he can keep safe, like scale, use the sustain, that could work.
Indeed. Well, let's touch a little bit on the picks we've actually seen, because I know us three, we're pretty excited about.
Men.
Yeah. Some might think we're handsome men. We certainly do ourselves. But we do see the Katarina coming in here, and that is exciting because it is one of the pocket picks from Alec. He's shown time and time again when he gets to play this champion that he actually is very, very proficient on it. He plays patiently. He waits for his Hextech item, the first item he gets, the Gunblade, and then he starts looking for the fights. He doesn't do a whole lot before then, and that it seems like a wise way to play it.
Yeah.
It seems like a wise way to play it because you can snowball incredibly fast with a Katarina, and if you get to the first item first, you have this security of kill pressure every single time.
That's what Alec can as well. It's like being the child on every Friday when your mom gave you these 10 crowns that you could buy candy for watching Disney show. It's like the same thing here. You get the candy and Disney show at the same time when you get Alec on the Katarina.
That's great. I don't know how to follow up on that one, but I just wanted to point out that we moved through the pick and ban phase rather quickly. We moved over some of the champions rather quickly, and that's because a lot of them is things we've seen before.
Oh, Lucian
What in
mid?
the ass? Okay, so yeah,
Maybe it could, like they tricked us before as well with the Tarek top. So
we've been hurt before, people. We're not gonna get lured into this one again.
No.
So right now, Lucian looks to be in the middle lane, which then goes to ask the question: what in the hell is the Alistar pick a placeholder for?
because to be honest, after the changes, I could see Lucian coming back in the mid lane.
Batman?
No, yeah, Batman.
Yeah, he will be the Batman.
He will be the
Bat-
Oh yeah,
Batman.
he will. And I could honestly see him 6. So I think it's gonna be Lucian mid, so that they still got the AD. He's gonna be able to punish Katarina. He's gonna be able to dash to safety from where the daggers are on the ground, and they can siege easily from the bot lane with the 6. And they got the Braum Lucian combo from the point where they start to group up.
Yeah, and we touched on this Lucian as well on our way here to this studio, and Lucian has been picking up a lot of steam, but we were kind of questioning whether the teams wanted to play him or not, and this is definitely one of the ways you can do it, by putting him into an advantageous situation in the mid lane, playing up against this melee ranged champion that has to get poked out of lane.
Yeah.
Like Lucian is going to be able to, with or without mana, go up to Katarina and just simply lay down damage on her and the minions. It's going to be interesting to see how much pressure he can pull off, because on the other side there is Tranen, and he does have this jungle possibility of ganking with this Trundle. So I'm curious to see how much pressure he'll put on the mid lane.
I think it's going to be very mid lane orientated just in general in this matchup. Like in this game, we got this Skarner who's going to come in. It's going to amplify very well with the Lucian as well. And the same goes with the Trundle and the Katarina. Like if you cross it, because if you use your dash with Lucian for an engage option and the pillar comes into the picture, that's not going to be fun.
That is not going to be fun. It's all about the execution, right? And that's what we're going to see here, right? We've seen the two compositions being drafted together. And, of course, as per tradition, I would like you guys to go over which composition you would want to choose and just tell me exactly what the win conditions are for this.
Which I would want to choose as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Honestly, if I just looked plainly at the champions and not who was playing them, I would tend more towards the right side, the red side, and the right side, in my opinion. The side with Camille, the side with Skarner, this surefire team fight, engage, and in laning phase pressure. You get priority in all your lanes. You get an early game that is fast clear in the jungle, fast clear in laning phases. You get fine wave clear, and then you get a possibility to do these fights almost like you want to, because you could put yourself in the lead.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, and you got the siege as well from the 6. And when it comes to the clearing in the jungle as well, as you mentioned, Skarner is like, he's insanely fast with the buffs on the ground. And just to set up, if you like, sort of, you got the Cillian ulti in case somebody's being shut down or being bursted. But if you sort of like put up a scenario where, in this case, the threat is going to be the Katarina and the Ezreal. So if we get the Hextech Ultimatum engaged, but the Skarner leeches to, let's say, Ezreal, they have to choose one of them. And the other one, who's not being ulted by Cillian, is going to die.
That might just be the case. I do have to agree with the both of you here. I do like the composition, the strengths as a whole, as a team, cohesive unit on the right side here for Singularity. I absolutely adore the 6 in the bottom lane. I do think that's a pick that, you know, it got in there. It started to be played once previously, but then it sort of fell out of the meta. Now it's possibly back again. We've seen it twice today, and it seems like it worked pretty fine for the team playing. It was good game sports,
It kind of gives me a small kind of flashback to another strategy that was used a lot, especially in NA LCS. It was one of these things where you picked Tristana and then just mowed down turrets all day long. You got the 3 auto turrets, and that way you got to win the game because of all the resources and money you got. And you swapped lanes to do it. You did whatever you could just to get the first 3 turrets. And in the same fashion, I kind of see this lineup, this red side lineup from Singularity, having the potential to do the same in a slightly different way. They have this 6 AD carry, which is really good at killing turrets, and they have the AD carry mid lane as well, which is good at applying damage over a distance. So they can clear the waves, get the turrets, get ahead in gold that way, and if somebody's standing in the way, they have 3 champions to go in and find the picks they need to clear the way.
Same thing again as well, now that you talk a lot about Six here as well. The last time we saw Six was in this Israel matchup again, and we know Six and his sieging potential and his wave clearing potential, which Israel cannot handle.
Exactly. The only thing that actually speaks to the advantage of Roligan here in that lane is the fact that they have 2 ranged players instead of the Braum as being one of the more defensive-minded. But I do feel Six makes up for that in a lot of wave clear potential, and he just needs a big guy, stand behind a big old buddy there, and
I am Braum.
Yeah, Braum. He goes lashing out all the bombs and all that stuff.
But you cannot expect how this game is going to go, because they picked the Katarina for Alec on the other side, and you don't know what kind of game he'll turn up with this flip-floppy kind of character. So I'm really looking forward to see which team gets ahead, because I think that the team that gets ahead early is going to take it all the way.
One thing as well that I want to mention fast now that you are talking about Katarina and Alec in general is that even though he gets behind, his skill level on Katarina is going to make him able to always come back somehow. Because he has the resources, he has the knowledge and the mechanics to play this champion to an insane level.
He really does. I expect we're going to see him farming up for the first item, like we've seen him do in the splits as well. I don't presume that there's going to be a lot of focus, only to make sure he gets the recalls. I assume Lucian will push him in. Raxon is a very proficient mid laner. And in general, I'd say that they have pushing matchups in almost all of their lanes, if not all of them, for Singularity's side. So for me, they came out ahead in the champ select, but the chaos that they throw in there from Roligan's side, that's their win condition in this one. We get off to the first start here, and we have Monkey starting off the blue buff, and we have Tranen on the other side also starting on the blue buff. So we have a jungler from Singularity pathing towards the top side, and jungler from Roligan pathing towards the bot side. And that might be an indication of what we might expect of these junglers this game.
And I just want to touch on real quick, Justy, you've been quite outspoken about what you think is going to be the first blood in almost all of the games, and been quite confident as well. What do you think right off the bat here in this game? Who would run away with it?
It's actually, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen on the mid lane, but I'm not sure if it's going to be Alec or if it's going to be Raxon, because they both have an amazing amount of resources when it comes to like the laning phase in general. In the beginning here, Raxon will take the lead. As you can see, he's like sort of building up the wave and clashing it into the turret, and then be able to bully Alec under the tower while he's trying to, as you can see fast here, bully her while she tries to get the last hits. But while Raxon is offensive in the lane, he's also very vulnerable to the gank from Trundle. So in case he wants to like clash a few waves, I would say he needs to pull it back. So he's going to be able to take monkeys in, because I would like to see the first blood on Raxon. Also, that he gets the first blood.
Well, he's already ahead by quite a big margin. He's 8 CS ahead. I know he's the guy. Oh, Alec actually going in there and dancing a little bit with the blades, blade surge, if you will. And, well, they seem to get out pretty even in that trade. Linux is also pushing in the top lane, also 10 CS ahead. And it seems to come out this way, as we touched on a little bit, that Singularity have maybe the pushing matchups here, and well, apart from the bot side, they have the range matchups, so they're actually pushing in here and getting the advantages from this lane so far.
But it's like looking in the bot lane, when we look at the mid lane as well, there is nothing more annoying to be a melee into a ranged matchup. It's like the feeling itself. Oh.
Yeah, it gets pretty difficult sometimes as well if the ranged matchup is really annoying and can do a lot of poke. But in this situation, I think that Galentha is fine playing the Braum, because he has the potential to go in and get the kills in the early game. He has this ignite, and with concussive blow, he can actually deal a lot of damage combined with the 6 output. The base damages on abilities from a mage is usually not something just to scoff at.
A little bit of action in the top lane here.
Yeah, good damage here coming in, and he decides actually to turn it. Oh, the question is, he's gonna flash and get the first blood.
Nihus with the outplay top lane. Great stuff from the top laner, place we've been talking a lot about, but haven't really seen them kind of dueling it out. And this game around, we get to see it. Nice change of pace from the top laners, actually dueling it out, seeing who can run away with it. And the sturdy Braum being the first guy to take it away.
Yeah, I was about to say, on an Ornn no less. It's not the champion you most expect to actually run away with these things. And for a Camille,
ooh, good damage here in return.
See, this is going to be... This spells danger for Raxon, the way I feel it. Because when he gets his first item, if he goes 0-0-0, gets his first item on this Katarina, I don't see the Lucian actually be very proficient.
No.
He's just going to die off. Boom, snap, gone.
I think so as well. And that's why I'm actually a little bit disappointed that there has not been any attention on the mid lane. We saw it very quickly in the bottom river that both Ton and Monkeys ran into each other because Ton wanted to gank the mid lane. So, he wants to keep going here, Lineups.
Nihus getting a taste for blood in top lane, wanting to really press his advantage up at the top side, getting the Sheen as the first item, and then trying to proc it as much as he can.
There is a troll in the brush.
Yeah, a little visit from a friendly neighborhood Trundle here, getting up into the top side.
Is that the way it goes? Is that the one?
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pop culture references aren't really,
No,
our style.
not our forte.
No, exactly. All right, but he's still standing, and well, it's.
Oh, he's going in here. Foxcott coming in, and it actually misses, but it's not gonna be that big of a deal. Down he goes again.
That's absolutely.
Well,
that's fucking horrible.
I think this not so friendly neighborhood Trundle was.
Monkeys looking to return the favor.
Yeah. Getting a good return kill here. Just to say, like, you know what? If you want to bully my top lane, I'm just going to take you with me.
Yeah, it's hard to shake hands with this Skarner on that low health. The claws will just sink in, and you will lose whatever you had left. So
yeah, and in this scenario, Lineups would have been glad to have been Spider-Man, because in this scenario, his spider sense would have been tingling. Instead, he just jumps head on into this Trundle right here, and it pays off.
The ulti comes in here from Alec, knowing that he wants to fight it, but there is the calling coming, and he has to flash out.
Definitely great stuff from both mid laners trying out what they can do here in level 6. Monkeys was about ready to get in there with his Impale and turn the situation towards the advantage of Raxon, but can't really get there before the action happens.
No can do, Surrey, and as it stands right now, Katarina is 20 CS behind his lane opponent, or her lane opponent, in Raxon here, and of course that's what we deemed being appropriate for this matchup in the early game. It makes sense since they picked Lucian into the Katarina, and well, right now I just think that
the combo again, Leonard's coming out.
Holy moly, what amount of damage this Ornn is doing early on in the game. Picked up 2 components of his build, and with his base damages and this Sheen proc alone, he totally demolishes the health bar of Lineups.
I was just about to say the Sheen and the Brittle at the same time.
Yeah, he actually already got the Sheen, so that gives him a lot of extra damage when he gets into proc the auto attack there, and he's going for the gauntlet as the first item. So a little bit, I don't know if that's traditionally what you build first. For some instances, we've seen it certainly, and that this means he can keep snowballing on this champion that just keeps adding on the tanky stats, and it's going to be a hellhole for Linus up in the top lane. He's already 0-2 on a Camille, a champion honestly that has to snowball the game to be relevant.
He should have been the one winning the lane, or at least the matchup here.
He's going even.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's not the point. He wants to be the stronger one.
Yeah,
he needs to be able to consistently win the side lanes.
And this is where Munkits needs to get out of the jungle and make some ganks that not only benefits himself but his teammates. Getting away with a 1 kill is great from Munkits on this Skarner, but look at this.
Lineups here is being low on health. He got the shield. Coming, a Forge Guard as well. A bit late though, I
see
think.
the second half, or is there nothing left to be seen?
Nothing left, sadly.
I don't know if he connected with the Call of the Forge God on the second activation. The knock up there might not have been what did it. But
Kirin is low here. Coming out here, popping the ulti and being
is this a turnaround
resurrected.
instead?
But the Glacial Fissure is connecting.
Igniting
flashing here back. And the Ignite is ticking.
Close!
Oh.
All right. Gilligantha getting out with the skin of his teeth.
No,
But in
Linus
the
coming in here. Hextech Ultimatum
No!
and flashing back.
No!
Dying to the burn.
and
I
that's-
cannot stress enough what close of events those were.
Ooh, the calling here
Just
coming
so
in
close,
here.
and now we have the
Raxon
second
is
part of it.
hungry. Monkey's coming in as well, pulling it back. Getting ready here. Raxon keeps going with the damage here. Monkey's trying
But
to
look at
desperately
Katarina, he's
defend
coming
Raxon.
up here. That's set up for a turret dive. They're both very low. Monkeys is certainly, I'm almost sure he's going
And
to go
Alec
down.
is
Can
looking
he chase
for
him
it.
down? He can't, so they're just going to look to, well.
Oh, he's hungry. Oh, not gonna make it.
Whenever this Katarina is on the prowl, you need to be wary. You need to run for the hill, and you need to do it fast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to quote Arnhem here. Never mind. Never mind. You know, you didn't hear anything out there, guys. And it's a 3-2 game, so this is it's way more even than we've seen in the other games so far. There's no Tarek to ruin the League of Legends experience here, as it were. I don't have a lot of love for that champion right now. Damn it. And right now it stands 1,000 gold in the advantage of Roligan after 10.5 minutes. So within touching distance for both teams. Singularity are playing on the back foot right now, but we've seen some proactive play from Monkeys, from Raxon, and they look to grasp the game back in their favor at certain points with the Impale and whatnot.
I'm a little bit disappointed though, because Skarner is very strong early because of his ranged E. And it's going to slow, and you can amplify a lot by it, especially in the bot lane. I know it's not the strongest side of the map at this moment, but combo-wise, it would have a pretty good solid scenario when you think about it with the Braum passive and the Glacial Fissure and stuff, or the mid lane amplifier as well. But he's not been that active. He's been in a lane where he needs to be to save somebody, or at least do some sort of a payback, as we saw in the top lane with the Chill Smite.
But he honestly still has
The Chill Smite.
Yeah. The chill
Smite,
Yeah.
laid back and chill.
For
Smite.
those not able to see us at the moment, we are currently throwing
Retarded.
all the hand signs we can,
Yeah.
while Menjai is tanking 3 turns.
Not the guy
He's getting the kill here.
Oh
on
my
Croxy.
God, Menjai, what are you doing?
I have no idea.
I mean, honestly, of course, I mean, well played, Croxy, for that
Incredible
brilliant
outing,
kill.
yeah.
But how could he not?
I don't think we've seen anything like it.
No,
we can say
no,
that
no.
for sure.
How could he not predict the fact that the Arcane Barrage would come?
LCS
yes.
plays from Croxy there in that moment, killing the other AD carry, AP carry here.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's just it's just nice to see Croxy outplaying his opponent.
Yeah,
I do agree.
definitely. You rarely get to see those kinds of outplays. And as we continue on here, we actually haven't touched anything on the vision. We haven't touched on the objectives actually here on the map. We have the Ocean Drake, but it seems like Singularity has all the vision. If you look at the map, there's a lot of red wards, especially control wards down to the bottom side of the river here, whereas Roligan have prioritized having vision in the top side towards Rift Herald. So they're kind of blind when it comes to the dragon, and I do believe that's why they haven't looked into getting that objective yet.
I would say, actually, I'm sorry, that the Ocean Drake would actually be amazing for Roligan to achieve. Because, they have a lot of squishies. Or not a lot, but 3 of them is pretty squishy. And in this case, as we have seen lots of times, is that the Ocean Drake allows you to keep fighting. Going back a bit if it fails the first time, being able to regen some stuff and then re-engage while the other team suffers from having no regen at all.
TP down bot side.
Yeah, TP coming in here as well.
It is
and,
the Ezreal. They have a turnaround teleport.
They do exactly here, and the kill goes down here to Tran. A bigger fight
Giant
coming here,
situation.
and the Forge God ultimate. A one-man knock-up here going down, and two kills are secured here
Impale
to
comes
News.
down.
And the Culling trying to do some distance here. The Monkey's flashing defensively onto his turret and not being blocked by the pillar.
Look at Nihus coming down here with the teleport, doing the damage, getting the double kill, and now in front of his entire team, he is able to push in towards the turrets, getting the lead further into his team's grasp. And this is what I wanted to touch on. From the situation before, this Roligan team really got to step on the speed on this car. Like, they got to step on the pedal. That's what I was looking for, the pedal to the metal here. Exactly. And they are really pulling out ahead now, getting out of the driveway and really looking for the highway, because this team is going to pull ahead. Not only in speed, but in gold advantage.
Yeah, they certainly shift up the gears here and put it into overdrive. I have to say, they have channeled the flux capacitor. They've gone beyond 88 miles per hour, and they charge into the other team, and they get a huge fight. 7-2 already for Roligan in this game. And we talked about it being even, but right now Roligan is taking it away, and it's only 14 minutes, 15 minutes into the game already.
Yeah, and from the perspective of Singularity, they might as well just be in the future right now, because they have all the options at the moment. They can just buy the items that the others can't, and with the item spikes, they can go down, take these drakes, take the Rift Herald, and then go for more turrets.
Damn right. Damn right. And it looks very, very well for them. If you have to touch on the item spikes we're hitting here for Roligan, could you summarize some of the things we're seeing across the board here?
Yeah, sure. Like, we see the Serpent's Embrace as well here on 6, first of all, because he needs to be able to keep clearing all these waves, first of all, and being able to do what he's best at, sieging. While we see here in the bot lane, nothing's going to happen more than that. But then again, Hex Trinker as well in the mid lane, especially here.
Satchel Charge going to come in. No, it's not enough for the Sigs to get it down here. Well, certainly there's a lot of things being hit right across the board now. I'd say Roligan is about 1.5 item into their builds. Yeah. All of them. We have Mune on Ezreal along with the Sheen. He's going into the Gauntlet build here, so he gets a little bit more self-heal. I'd say smart, the safe pick, even though they're far ahead right now. Light years, one might say.
It's a future car.
Yeah, a lot of future references.
Oh, engaged down here from Nihus once again.
Yeah, Linux needs to be very careful. He can easily be one-on-one here by News at this point in the game. He's so insanely strong, and he has a lot of sustain, especially when it comes to the Tappy Boots just by themselves and the Iceborne Gauntlet, aka Frozen Fist.
Oh, Rexon might find a situation onto Alex.
Here, being low. Resurrection here coming in. Tran trying to protect his mate here. Glacial Fisher is going in. The double man coming in here. And a kill goes down. 2 kills goes down. And 3 kills going to Roligan.
Double kill to Tran. And even though it doesn't seem like the Katarina is going to get many kills this game, that's not going to be a worry. Because as long as the rest of the team is doing this fine, she will get them eventually. And what matters right now is this turret, this gold, these minions, and the next turret. They just keep on rolling and getting more and more objectives.
Yeah, they're piling up steam right now. Yeah.
They keep rolling because it's Roligan.
Well, that's
they're
one way of
they're like coming out my sleeve.
Yeah, it was amazing. They get another turret on the backhand of this fight here, and they're actually 8,000 gold in the lead now, almost 9,000, and it's 17 minutes into the game. So forget whatever it is that I said about the Taric. I may have been a bit too harsh on him here, because this game is steamrolling to the one side as well right now, and it looks to be a Roligan favored victory. They have to just cruise control this into the harbor and get it done, stick the landing as it were.
I can't wait to see if Singularity has something and respond to all of this, because they still have the 6. They can easily respond to like the sieging, but that doesn't really matter if they keep losing their team fights.
And honestly, I just think that's the point. They lost some early team fights on the turrets and some dives, And that's what put this Singularity team ahead.
Ooh,
now we get
here coming here. Monkey's coming from the back
But
here.
he is a
And
tanky member
God
here.
hitting. He's flashing towards it and gets the kill here. He's on
my
a killing
God.
spree. Neo's taking off, popping off, trying here desperately to see if he can make it back. Or at least maybe get another kill here on Monkeys. He's trying to get back here, utilizing his cooldown.
He's gonna
as
turn
well,
it.
And he's gonna turn it maybe here. Trying to pull back and flashing the ape here, emote.
He actually wins a delayed 3 versus 1. I don't think the Singularity wanted the rest of this fight to go on. It's a 5-1-1 Ornn. He looks like a hyper carry in the top lane right now because he's so far ahead. 150 CS, 5-1-1, 2 items completed, 3 including the boots already completed. And on the other side, his lane opponent 0-5-0. It is looking dire for Lineups, and certainly not the carry performance we've seen from him previously on his Camille as one of his preferred champions in terms of KDA.
Yeah, but I think like Lineups is like, if you ask me, the best top lane we got. And he's being dominated. Ooh, coming in here
Alec
again.
jumping in. Oh my God!
Alec
It's so
jumping
flexible!
right down to Monkeys and getting killed.
Do we see the re-engage happening here?
Ooh,
We
Neo's
might.
coming in
Looking
from the
for
back
it.
here.
He
And
got
he's
him!
dying
Oh.
here. Croxy gets another one.
And how crucial was that exhaust, guys? I think that was Raxon putting down the exhaust on Alec on the very pivotal moment in the middle of the fight, turning off any damage Alex could do, and then getting him killed afterwards with the help of Monkids. Very nice stuff from...
Yeah, and a very, very flexible mid laner here. I really like to see Katarina move, I must say.
Feels bad, man, when you just moved out.
She just moves around really, really well. It's like a dance, really. She does move out into an enemy in Monkeys here, but it gives them the time to actually get the re-engage. It lures them enough out of their base to actually get the return kill. It's worth it in the end for Singularity because they're very much behind, so they get to stall a little bit more. But in the grand scheme of things, it was a nice, fun little play to take hold of.
And we do have to remember that this is now a Roligan lineup that has this Cillian, this 007 Cillian that can just snipe any kill away that goes towards them.
It's the perfect score. It
It
is
is.
the perfect support score ever. It is the James Bond of scores. And it's,
007.
yeah, of course.
And he's been really on point, helping his team stay alive in these fights, right? And these speed ups and slows potentially are some of the things helping his team get ahead in the team fights, and it's very crucial to watch where he's placing himself in the fights.
I totally agree. And while we were talking as well, they got their second Dragoness. Like, they look really, really good in this third game, Roligan. It's going to give him a lot of sustain.
And honestly, what we've seen from the Cillian pick so far as they start up the Baron here, you know, he can just go and say, you know what, guys, I get the perfect support score here. You guys can die another day, and then we'll just move on into the...
They don't know.
It's too good not to
It's
be
halfway down Baron here. They know that they're on it. We'll see what's going to happen here. Backing off, trying to
definitely
get the
looking for
fight
fight.
here. Alex going in, he'll popping off. Continues, keeps going, has the ultimate on, not being able to get the pop off here. And, like, I would not say abuse the resurrection, but I would say Manjai might help him a little bit.
Nice double kill to Alex, who leads the charge in defending this Baron play. This Baron play that is now totally free for the Roligan team, and that can potentially close out the game if this goes right from now on.
Well, that's the first 10,000 gold. We're 22 minutes into the game. Eventually, they're going to get the Baron unless Raxon is going to pull off some sort of miracle.
He does not have smite, so it's
No,
very unlikely, and doesn't even want to try for anything funny. The team backs off with Baron now. Roligan's watching themselves spy items left, right, and center, and this is going to be really nice to see if they can close it out in a quicker fashion than they did in the first game.
Certainly, and just now we've had the Hextech Gunblade finish for Alec. I'm not unsure if he had it finished before, but this is a Katarina to be reckoned with right now. A lot of damage coming through. He just jumped in. He's sure of his teammate propping him up with the ulti. He gets the Cillian ulti. That's why they do it. Just throw him in there in the midst of things. Hope to get a lot of damage off, and you know, if he dies, he dies, and then you move on.
But that's what Katarina can do, because you have like the burst she's able to put out is massive. And if he just alone with the Kidon ultimate from Cillian can burst, like let's say 3 people down to maybe 20 or 30% HP, the rest of the team can come back in, and he's gonna be resurrected and be able to finish it up and clean up the rest.
Now they're prancing up into the turret here. They're looking to siege it down with the Baron buff recently gone down in favor of Roligan. They're looking to actually just slowly chunk it down here. Not a lot of pressure or range from this composition. They only have the Ezreal really, along with the Cillian, not the two most formidable guys when it comes to knocking down turrets.
And this is where you really see the strength of the Singularity lineup. If this this Singularity team was ahead, they would be able to pull off sieges so perfectly. And right now they have all the wave clear they need. Even against Baron up minions, they have a pretty good chance of defending turrets. But with the potential engage of this Roligan team, they need to back off and be careful.
I totally agree.
They do. This time around, they, however, don't see it fit to actually take a fight here. They're too far behind. There's not a lot of options here for Singularity anymore, and I just think they deem it worthy to just wait it out, try to get the minions.
Live to fight another day.
Live to fight another day, indeed.
It's a
And
nice
this
rotation.
might be the day. This is the second attempt at an inhibitor in the top side now.
Actually, a really good ulti as well here from Menjai, because I was just about to say I think it was an excellent way of rotating, because they knew that they were trying to build up a massive wave in the top lane, like utilizing the mid lane first, getting the inhib, and then rotating top. But then Menjai is smart, using the Mega Bomb here to like sort of clear out the wave, because that was massive.
And if he had a lot of more damage, if the game would have been more even.
Oh, coming in
Flash
here,
engage.
pulling him back in the hopes of destroying Kidon. He's going down. Second kill here goes down
at
for
Alec.
Menjai, and Alex popping off, getting down the Braum next to Menjai. That's
Triple.
insane. Oh, Reno. Alec is popping off. We talked about him as well a couple of times. This Katarina, thumbs up as well.
And they might be looking to end here off the back of that fight. Roligan, they're coming in. They're looking at the inhibitor. No, Nexus turrets, my bad. They're knocking them down. Not a lot of contestation from Singularity right now. And this looks like a 2-1 series matchup for Roligan, or in the favor of Roligan, after this game here. And another stomp, ladies and gentlemen. After the crucial fight in the bot lane, they take advantage of the game and they get it into their favor. So Roligan, yeah, they have it one up. They're putting up to the match point in favor of those guys. And now Singularity, they have to pull some sort of rabbit up their butts.
My bet is sort of out of the picture, because I said 3-1 to Singularity.
Well,
But in other words, that was an amazing gameplay. I think Roligan really did good in this. And especially when you think about the matchup in the mid lane again with the Katarina against Lucian. I think laning phase-wise, I think Raxon did exactly what he was meant to do. But when the fights broke out, Alec was just faster.
yeah, and it comes down to this early game. Like, it comes down to not only the early game and the laning phases, but it comes down to the team fights. That's where this game kind of went into their favor, and that's where they just pull ahead with it. I talked a little bit about it with you in the early game, and I thought that this was a game that would go really lopsided, either the one way or the other.
Whichever way, yeah.
And I honestly think that if the fights had gone a little bit different, then the Singularity lineup would have really taken this game home. Yeah.
I have to agree with you, and that's exactly what happened. You touched on it before the game, and well, they did snowball it. In fact, we've had 3 games now where it snowballed after quite a fashionable early game. It's actually within the first 10 minutes we get the immediate result of the game, and this if this spells out a sort of tendency, it is that whoever gets in front first gets to snowball the game into a victory.
And I would even go so far as to say that this time around it was the entire backbone of this Roligan team that pulled it out in the fights, because Alex didn't get off to a flying start. It was much later in the game that he actually got his kills and his momentum. So this is a huge shout out to Nihus in this top lane. He did a wonderful job on this in this game. So.
He certainly did.
I do agree. And also, I want to say, even though that was sort of like the last fight at the Singularity base in the top lane, but flashing out as well and getting Kidon would also, in my opinion, be the right decision, because they need to make sure that Alec is not invincible. They need to remove him. But it backfired, and they had more damage. They had the lead, but we could see it on the gold charges and the items by themselves.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, Croxy is the guy running off with the most damage dealt in this game. Just for your information, we did get to see a perfect score from the Silly, and he ruined it by getting a lot more assist in the end of this game. So, you know, bad on him or shame on him or whatever you want to say. But that's it for this game right now, and we're looking in to see the 4th match coming up in just 5 minutes. So, you know, stay tuned for a lot of good League of Legends, and we'll see you in 5. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our fourth game of this semifinal between Singularity and Roligan, and we're actually really excited to see what these guys are about to pull out. This is Stefan Storm, Daniel Justy, and me, Beldorn. We're very excited to bring you the next game in this very tense series.
2-1 so far. Roligan.
Tense is like the absolute right word to use in this situation. These two teams not only went 2-1 in the first 3 games, they went 2-1 in different kind of fashions.
Yeah.
They closed out those games so hard. Like they had big leads on both sides and are now in a situation where if you lose the early game, you might get killed. Like you might lose in the same fashion, and that's a tense situation to be in.
Yes, in Singularity, they have their backs up against the wall, as it were. They're backed all up into a corner right now, and they can't afford to make any more mistakes, because making any mistakes might mean you throw the game, and if you throw the game, well, I'm sorry, you're not playing for the massive amount of money that you can win in the first place, as opposed to what you might win, as well as the glory on a third and fourth place. So they're definitely going to have to play to win, obviously, but still, they have their backs up against the wall before actually making it to this potential final for them this year.
One thing that I want to mention as well is actually what big outplays that we saw from Neo's last game as well. Lots and lots of solo kills in the top lane against Camille, played by Linux, which usually would be the other way around, but that was not the case.
That was not the case indeed. We had an Ornn hyper carry in the top lane. He was 5-1-1, 6-1-1. We saw a 1 versus 3 at some point. It's delayed 1 versus 3 to be fair to Singularity here, but that just it's just a testament to how far along or ahead he really was, light years, as we touched on in the previous series. And we have some bans coming in. They look pretty similar to what we've seen so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just about to point that out, that Linux and Nihus here banning out the things that they don't want to play against and what the team doesn't want to play against. And we've seen it several times now. This Morgana being banned away, we haven't touched on it so far, but that's because this pick represents the idea that you cannot choose an engage comp with point-and-click stuns anymore, or at least skill shot stuns, because it's just so good at shutting down comps that wants to go after the one kill. If you choose the Skarner setup or the Hextech Ultimatum with Camille, then Morgana can just disrupt so much of that.
I'm actually quite curious as well to see if we see the Ornn ban coming in here from either one of the teams playing, because he was very dominant last game.
Yeah, he definitely was, and the token Yasuo ban coming in here, we have to see it every time. I'm really glad I don't condone racism in any sort of way, but when it comes to banning out champions and specifically just really target banning them, I have no problem with the hatred going towards the Yasuo. I really despise it.
I mean, it must be getting really dusty, and like there's a lot of spiders in the corner where he's sitting, because there's not a lot of movement, and he's just sitting in his lonely corner, not getting to play this Yasuo at all. So maybe we'll see him.
It's incredible. Ornn has been locked in again. Blind pick worthy as per usual for this series at least. And, well, they seem to want to repeat the number that Nihus pulled on them last game, and Linux says, well, if you can do it, I can do it better.
Well, and I'm honestly not surprised that they let it through. I'm not honest. I'm lying and saying that I'm surprised that they let it through. But
actually really exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this is because I think that Nihus wants to show that not only does he dominate on this Ornn, he knows how to dominate against it as well. And that's really interesting. They could, of course, flex it to the mid lane, which is an option, but the Aurelia into the Ornn is a quite fine matchup.
Yeah, it is indeed. One thing that I want to mention as well, we mentioned it in the first series we had tonight as well, about Yasuo with a quadruple crit chance as well, with the 15% true damage, is something that you really gotta
we
expect.
We get a lot of firsts
respect.
for this evening, to be honest. We get to see the Graves, we get to see the Irelia. Irelia has been banned so heavily in these games. Graves not as much, but it hasn't been picked either. And this time around, well, they want monkeys on it here.
One thing that doesn't come as a surprise, because Ton has been playing a lot of Graves as well recently, and Graves is very strong. So now that they take out the Xingqiao from Monkeys, which he had a excellent performance on, giving him the Graves as well with his aggressive playstyle fits him very well.
Yeah, but this is also a champion that we've seen being banned quite heavily. It's a champion that before Master Yi got buffed was the champion to go to in the jungle if you wanted to carry from the jungle, and that has been kind of the meta that we've seen a lot recently, like Olaf being really strong in the jungle, carrying from that position. Now the Master Yi and this Graves as well has just been power picks to potentially first pick as well. On being the case this time around. And then we get Alistar as well. We have seen Griesens play really well on that champion.
Oh, yeah.
And now we get to see Galentha try his hands on it as well. We've seen him on Fiddlesticks being quite the deadly man. So it could be quite interesting to see if he gets to play, make some big plays.
That's what we know from him as well, because we've seen it. He knows when the timing is right. He knows when to be there, and he knows when to engage. So giving him Alistar as well in this scenario is actually not that bad. I think it's a good decision. And Alistar by himself, as he is also a very dominant support.
Yeah, and while we're just sorting out some small things, we do get to the second part of the pick and ban phase, the part where we get to pick our last 4 champions.
All right, guys, we have to pretend that we're talking to blind people here because we have a. Okay, it is actually back. So sorry
Great.
for the interruption here, guys. We had a sort of bug in the champ select, so it froze up, and that means you get to see all of which we've just spoken about right now. And as we get further into the champ select here, we see a Saya being locked in for the side of Roligan. And I might add that Croxy has been very, very prominent on this particular champion earlier on in the split.
I'm very excited to see his build path and Saya in general, because I don't think Saya is very strong at this moment when it comes to AD positioning. Or in the AD position, I mean. Because champions right now, when we talk like stuff like God tier and A tier, is more like Ezreal, Jhin, like these more burst-ish ADs. And Saya, like the champion or herself and the kit is excellent, but I haven't seen her in a very long time, and especially not after the recent changes in patch 8.11.
Yeah, but I still think it's going to do a lot for the team. It provides some utility and an AD carry that is very hard to kill, which paired up against the S-Rule. Oh, and there's the Fiddlesticks. We love ours some Fiddlesticks, because then we get to see some great Crow Storms. I just love that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We're gonna get some Crow Stomps going.
I'm sure that's gonna be great, and nobody will get tired of that.
Exactly.
At any point.
If there's no sound, well, if there is a sound you're not gonna get tired of, it's me dancing off to the Crow Storm here, and we hope to see some really great ultimates. We saw some from Galagantha previously on the Fiddlesticks, so it's nice to see him on this again. And I'm actually surprised they didn't ban it out this time around, and instead focus on banning some sort of the Rise and stuff like this. I don't think it's very prominent. I haven't seen it played even. So yeah, Fiddlesticks in their candy bag of potential playmaking opportunities in this game here for Singularity.
One thing that I want to stress a little bit is that we got the Saya Rakan bot lane, though. Even though I did mention that I don't think Saya is very strong when it comes to the choice of AD, we still do have the duo.
Yeah, we do.
So, and that could potentially give her the need or the help she needs to be able to excel and maybe be able to live up to the other ADs, if that is the case.
Yeah, and I just want to really quick stress that for new viewers that this is one of these situations where we quickly reboot the champion picks and bans. Nothing is out of order or thrown out the table. We get the or out the window rather. We get the same picks and bans, and we will go down through the picks real fast to get into the game. At which point we will get to see all the picks in the right order as well. So this time we can really get a closer look at what these two team compositions do want to do in the game.
Yeah, and again, this time around, as per usual, as a tendency for today, we get to see a lot of new picks, and we have to talk about what sort of stuff they're going to be applying to this table here. Or throwing out the window. I'm sure.
I think you got it. I think you got it.
I got it?
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right,
yeah.
Great. Either way, we have the Irelia, which is a champion I'd like to talk about here. After her rework, she's actually been looking really strong and seen a lot of play, especially here in League Championship Denmark. And I don't recall really seeing any poor playing Irelias. I don't see her not being relevant in any of the games she's participated in. So it's going to be nice to see if Nihus can actually do it this game, or
the echo.
Did we miss out on something?
No,
Was
I
this-
think the Fiddlesticks was a placeholder, to be honest, because Alistar was picked before, and
Yeah, that's
Fiddle
right.
was picked in pretty fast. So I would assume that he was going to be the placeholder for Echo.
I would say that usually they do tend to pick a placeholder that is a champion that starts with an A.
Yeah.
But let's see what ends up happening when we get to the last part.
All right, we get turned around a little bit here, but this is exciting actually because we get to see the echo from Raxon. It is, I would say, indubitably his absolutely best champion. He's the best performing champion he's got in his champion pool. Not necessarily the most meta champion, but with this new meta, it might have some sort of reliability in terms of comfort instead of traditional meta, at least.
I think it has something to do as well, because they know this is their last chance. It's 2-1 in this case. If Roligan wins one more time, they win this playoff. So if they don't perform the best way possible that they can muster to put together, they lose their chance to get into the grand final tomorrow.
Yeah, and as we get the Rakan locked in as the last champion here to round out the compositions, we once again have two compositions that we should talk a little bit about. So, sign up on which of the lineups you prefer in terms of champions as per own opinion, and as well go over the win conditions for the separate teams. You get to choose this time, Storm, so go on ahead and yeah.
I'm gonna go the route of Alex and this Roligan lineup. They seem to be favoring more towards these mid laners that do a lot of damage in teamfights, and particularly this Vladimir has been a great option for them. I do see that they have a lot of option in the later stages of a game, and with a Zyra Khan lane, bot lane, you usually can't go that wrong. Like, you get a stable laning phase, most of the time you even get an oppressive laning phase with a lot of kill potential. So they are going to see if they can make some noise in those lanes, and then get the Jax ahead in the jungle, get the Aurelia going in team fights, and then having a lot of bruises, spread out the damage on each of them. They're going to do fights not with the main tank, but like with zoning and doing fights over more ground.
Yeah, exactly. And to touch a bit on that point just before we get into your half here, Justy, what I see here as well, we have the Aurelia, we have the Jax, we have the Vladimir, we have the Rakan. You have an AD carry with self-peel. So the four of them, these four Jax, not Camille, Aurelia and Vladimir, they're just going to jump into the back line, select whichever targets they want, because they can just go ham. They can just go for Ezreal, they can go for Echo, they can go for Graves. Doesn't matter. They can all just fly into the back line, and, you know, they're all pseudo-tanks, so they have the durability, but if you're the one making the moves, you don't get the time or the luxury to choose the target you want to kill, and that is why I also prefer the Roligan lineup in this game here, Game 4. But you have to defend the Singularity lineup here.
Yeah, I will do my best, because in this case, or in this scenario here in this draft, we got the Ornn top. We've seen him pretty dominant the last few times that he's been in the game, and hopefully lineups are able to do just as good as Meteor. I was about to say Meteors, I don't know why. But News in last game,
I mean, hopefully he will, yeah.
But I would say just in general, I would see, like, I totally get your point when it comes to the to the Roligan lineup. But on the Singularity side, I would only say, like, the only one here who's in trouble would be the Graves, because we got Raxon, who's able to get back and out of the fight. We got the Arcane Shift from Ezreal, who's able to make some distance in case he needs to use the flash as well. He can create even more distance. We got the Alistar, which has his ultimate to prevent a lot of like CC stuff, and he gets a lot of damage reduction, so he can soak up a lot of damage. And the same goes for Ornn when he uses his W to get the shield, and his Brittle and his ultimate by itself gives a lot of sustain and can possibly prevent a lot of engagement here from Roligan. But I would say laning phase-wise, Roligan are stronger at this point. And that's, I'm kind of curious to see if Raxon in this scenario here is going to be able to have some sort of an impact, because as you said, Baldorin, he's on his absolutely best champion.
He is.
But he's also in a melee ranged matchup, and even with against a sustained champion like Vladimir.
Yeah, and Vladimir has the luxury of the pool in this matchup, so whenever Raxon might have any kill pressure, he has the luxury of just, ever so slightly pooling out.
Well, it goes the same way after level 6 for the Echo that can just go back in time, save himself. So there's a lot of options as well on this Singularity lineup to actually get out of the gate flying. They might not have the best lane setups for priority in lane, but they do have really good setup for getting kills if they go around together. We have seen them do this before with mixed success in the games, but if they can pull off one of the early fights, which is the fights we've been talking a lot about, being the crucial parts of these games, if they can win those, I think they can, with this comp, do a great job of crushing the spirits of this Roligan team.
I think so as well, because if you sort of put it up, the Forge Guard connects, and you got Raxon charging up the shield jump to sort of excel even more on the CC coming in, they can easily do a humongous amount of damage, because we know Graves getting close, get a shotgun in the face, we know what happens. And they got the fall off with Alistar as well in the back. So when the 2 first, or however the sequence might be, is done, they keep being able to follow up on each other, which excels again to Graves with his grenade and stuff and his ulti. So I'm kind of excited to see who's going to take the lead in the beginning.
It certainly looks like 2 admirable compositions with a lot of tools in between themselves. We're loading up for the 4th time in this semi-final between Singularity and Roligan. So, throw out the hashtags and whatnot. You might want to throw your callers into stream chat before the result comes in so you can, show off afterwards and tell them how smart you were guessing the right outcome of the game. We're certainly excited to see this 4th game, and it might just be match point. Singularity backs against the wall. They have to win this one.
They definitely do, and this is one of the last chances for them to get to the final. They need to win this and the next game to be able to get all the way to the final and meet GG Esports in the final tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Sorry, I totally I thought I was going to say 19 o'clock or something.
Yeah, but 7 p.m. Central European time.
Exactly, and if they don't succeed against this Roligan squad, they will have to play the 3rd place match, which is no small thing as well. There's a lot of bragging rights as well as other things on the line for the 3rd match. So there's definitely a lot of great games coming up after this one in the near future.
Yeah, exactly.
Dance battle. That might be easier instead of fighting.
Yeah, this is sort of flashy. They want to settle it in their own way. I'm sure the teams are going to disagree fully about whether or not that is a legitimate way to turn out the fight. But still, it's nice to see a little bit of skin being flashed in the middle lane here. And well, we're just amping up here. Everybody standing in the line of scrimmage, so no invades this time around. They're just very cautious when it comes to this game, and I think that's in the best interest for Singularity.
And why shouldn't they be? This is a game-breaking game. A win or die
got
situation.
The cheese. We got the cheese. Ooh. Evading the Mystic Shot. Do they want to go for it? We do know at the beginning here it goes. Ooh. With a W as well to amplify, taking a lot of damage here on the Alistar.
Galentha down to 200 HP from one simple combination from Kidon and Croxy. They do, however, take a lot of damage on the return. Up top side.
Woo! There is a fast gank here, and the flash has been used.
Yeah, respectfully flashing here from Linux. Very smart play from him. Not risking anything on the top side. And this is going to be the question of whether Tranen wants to capitalize on this later on.
Yeah, and I really like this from Roligan, honestly, because they apply the pressure early on. They see if they can probe for any mistakes from Singularity, because any mistake might mean the game. Oh,
look at this damage out of Nihus in topside. He knows there's no flash, and in mid lane we get a
as well.
Great trade, both top and mid. Hero Linux with his shield trying to do some damage back, but I think he's short for a trip back home here. He's going to do it soon, I think.
I agree. He looks like he has to recall, and he's only on the half amount of CS as this Aurelia is. So in between all the dashes back and forth from Nihus here, he actually also gets the farm. Clearly, he's very, prominent when it comes to playing these carry top laners.
I do agree. And I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen here in the top lane, because we know Aurelia, and she can easily pop off. And I think it was a good decision from Lineups as well to use the flash in this scenario when the top got ganked by Tan.
Close stuff here with the small field and the stun from Echo, but not close enough. Gets out of dodge, does Alex, and that means that he gets to keep his summoner spells, which is nice if you're a mid laner and you get ganked again.
Yeah, exactly. Plus you have the pool always as the extra safety, as the Vladimir. Really nice, and I think the game is going to calm a little bit more down now. They've tried their best in the first 3.5 minutes to get the ganks off, and I think the junglers will just ease into the recalls and get the jungle pathing going, and then maybe look to gank again at level 6. In other regards, we can mention that the first dragon this time around is an Ocean Drake, and that might be worth contesting early on in the game, so we might see some fights down there.
I honestly do think we will see one more gank in the next few minutes, just because the flash is down in topside, and a return from Tannen up there could benefit a kill either to this Jax or this Aurelia, and either one of those targets could really benefit from getting ahead early and really snowballing that pressure they could put up with the.
Right, you are. Look at this right now. Tranen is jumping in, but actually, yeah, not enough for him to deal the damage. He chunks a little bit of Lineups, but Lineups honestly chunks a lot more off of Tranen, so Tranen probably has to recall after he gets his grumps in the top side.
One thing that's actually a little bit sad when you play Ornn in this scenario here, pull is being used here though, but it has that when you use the breath, you hit multiple minions, so you can't easily control the wave. As you can see here in the top wave, it's pushing and it's pushing hard. And in this scenario here, without the flash, it's going to open up some possibilities for Tan to come in with Jax and do some ganking, as you mentioned yourself. So I'm sort of excited to see if he's going to be able to actually maximize his pushing potential, because he's not going to be able to just last hit it with auto attacks.
Yeah, but with Tannen going for the grumps and being on low health, he has no option to gank at this time and must return to his base, thus giving Lineups the chance to go back and get some of his mana refreshed. Down bot side, we see a lot of trading so far. It's been to the benefit of Menjai. He has accumulated a small CS lead in the near tens, and that means that this team of Singularity is currently in a small gold lead on only 300. Not like the other games we've seen where we've gotten first bloods at this point in the game.
I'm actually quite excited as well to see what's going to happen build-wise on Croxy's Saya, because I've been thinking a lot about stuff like, let's say, Essence Reaver, because the new passive on it is going to... Ooh, Thunder's maybe going to be in trouble, maybe. Ooh, gets on it here. Raxon is on the move. Thunder's going to jump back here. Oh, he's not going to make it, maybe. He's got the red smite on him. He's getting out alive.
Get out of it?
Moxie
First blood
is down, getting the first blood here on Tannen though, and to see Vanguard's edge being popped here, a bigger fight is playing out. Raxon here is taking his leave shortly here, but Lineups is not done. He still has the option here to keep going.
What an absolute bloodbath that turned out to be. We saw Raxon going in, getting the kill on Tannen, who thought he had saved himself with the dodge, but nevertheless, he gets the kill, gets the first blood, and then they return the favor. They kill the jungler, Munkits, and then tie it up one-to-one.
Going under the tower here and blowing up Raxon.
Alec actually looks really, really, really freaking scary on this Vladimir. Every time he gets a hold of it, he just fish in the water. Honestly, it just looks really natural for him to pull these plays off. And yeah, Raxon may have gotten and pushed out everything to get that first blood, but he disrespects the fact that he has kill pleasure on the Vladimir, and then, well, he pays for it. So, Roligan, yeah, they're not ahead yet. They're still in a deficit, but that comes mainly from the bottom lane, I would say. Otherwise, yeah, good stuff from Roligan, and it's always nice to get a kill lead. It gives the extra motivation, extra mentality boost you might need in one of these series.
And I just think it speaks to the mentality as well of the player. We see Alec playing these matchups in mid lane quite often with a sort of aggressiveness that you don't get that often. Like he plays to the edge and then maybe even a step further sometime getting killed. But going this far in, getting the kill, knowing his damage output at this point in the game, those are the things that get him a lead sometimes. And with a lead here in the early game, I know it's not much yet. Oh, they actually don't have a gold lead yet, this Roligan team, but...
oh, good damage here coming in. Good trade here from Raxon.
But then again, Tan is actually...
Tan is being pushed out of his jungle.
Yeah, all these Oos and Rs are not really benefiting too much of a kill, but they are pushing these summoner spells to the brink. We're getting to see a lot of trades at the moment, and soon some of these trades will turn into kills. Let's see what happens, Bud.
You're just gonna see here the TP is
Not
coming in here in the defense here. 3-man bottom is gonna cancel the whole thing here, and News is bot lane now. And
yeah,
they
actually force out the teleport here. So Nihus goes bot lane. He has the advantage in the top lane right now in terms of CS, but he might just lose that advantage now because of the teleport. And well, the teleport advantage remains or goes over to Singularity now after this sequence of plays. I do feel it might have been unnecessary. They seem to have a handle on it, and Saya Rakan, they definitely have the tools to actually play a counterplay a tower dive.
I do agree, especially with the Feather Storm. Like, they didn't even use their ultis yet.
No.
So
exactly.
it's sort of like it's way too early to like decide. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna come here to help you out, because Croxy can like totally parry out any skill shot or any ulti or any CC by using the Feather Storm. And the quickness as well from Rakan can buy him time onto the tower, could possibly end to a Blade Caller, and that would actually maybe even get a kill.
I just have to say today that I've enjoyed seeing all these champions with these really impactful ultis. Like we saw the Glacial Storm earlier, we've seen Crow Storm several times. Now we get to see this Feather Storm as well. I'm just enjoying it.
A lot of storms, really, yeah. That's weird how you would enjoy that. I don't know why.
Oh, what's happening down here bot lane? Let's take a look at that real quick.
Yeah, it looks like they're brewing up
diverting
a storm
our
down
attention.
Here. Ha. Well, certainly they've gotten the tools up and ready right now. Rakan has his ulti ready, the same with Croxy and his Saya. So might be that Roligan looks to play proactively around this bottom lane now, since, well, there's not a lot of outplay if you get the Rakan ulti off just right.
You can see like Singularity as well is sort of like trying to set something up in the bottom lane by having monkeys down here. We see that Raxon as well is trying to do something and isn't trying. And meantime, in the top lane as well, there is also a kill with
Alec in trouble maybe here.
So
does the Hemoplague kill him?
Yeah, he's low!
Ignite as well.
He's gonna get out for sure. There's no flashes here, and he still has a second Q here for the slow.
But close stuff in the mid lane once again as they square off these two mid laners of the two teams. They really like to get the upper hand in this matchup, and they're not afraid to battle it out to get it. This does, however, mean that they get to push now from Roligan in towards the mid lane turret. They get the pushing advantage top after that nice kill earlier, but they lost the turret bot side, so they have to get something here.
Actually, all in all, it's in favor of Singularity, because they get the turret. Yeah, sure, they get the kill, but not really what you want. And I have to agree with you. The Saya pick does not look very formidable right now. It just looks really, really squishy and hard to pull off. Even though you have the Saya Rakan lane, which is something that has been praised. I do want to touch a little bit on the fact that Croxy actually really plays this champion really well and has played her before she got the nerf, the 80 carry nerf. So I'm excited. Excuse me, excited to see what he pulls out once they get a little bit later into the game, because it is within touching distance and it's only 700 gold lead for Singularity. But
I'm curious to see, again, I mentioned it before, the Essence rework, because if he can proc the effect Essence Flare as well, he's gonna get per basic attack within the 8 seconds here, being able to get 20% from every non-ultimate ability down, which could result in multiple Blade Callers. And with the amount of feathers that she can get out, with the attack speed amplifiers that she got as well, that could easily be a humongous amount of damage when it comes into bigger team fights.
Oh, Hedon. No, they're not looking to do anything here. Let's touch a bit on the vision coming down now, as we have a little bit more of a slow game. If we look at Singularity, they've placed a lot of vision around this Rift Herald right now, and generally speaking in the top side of the map. On the other side, however, they're on the back foot. It is pretty obvious they don't have a lot of vision down. They have a couple of They actually have one Vision Ward, and that is removed now to put it up in the top side, it seems, and a couple of other Vision Wards around here. Oh, are we looking at a flank?
We most definitely are looking at an attempt to start the fight here from Roligan. They sensed that something was of interest in this river area, but they couldn't really close the distance. And now we see Menjay and Galintha pushing up quite nicely in the top side, looking for some damage on the turret. Down bot side, lots of damage onto Linux, but traded in return the other way around. This is Nihu's really trying to put some pressure down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when he hits his power spike, when the Aurelia gets the Trinity Force, because he's been forcing a lot of 1 versus 1s at the moment, continuously, one might add. And, well, it just seems like Nihu's is greater than Linux in this series, at least in terms of handling his solo lanes.
Oh!
Oh, a good fight there in the mid lane as well, at least trades.
Oh,
Vanguard's
Vanguard
Edge is
come
being
down.
popped here, trying to dive it on the turret, and Forge God is coming in here in case of the dive going through.
And I don't know why we keep getting so invested in these fights in the mid lane, because both champions have great tools to get out of dodge quick, right?
That's all for sure.
Yeah, like if he gets into trouble, Alec, he'll just throw pool away, and on the other side he can turn back time. So they really have to set it up nicely to not die. Yeah.
I need some heavy CC to prevent the chrono break at least, or the pool.
Alright, look at this now. In the bot lane, Monkeys might be caught out of position here.
Monkeys here trying to use
Get
the quick draw
stunned.
in his best intentions
flash
here,
out,
and the
does it,
knock-up
they
coming here
don't.
for Linux. Almost actually getting the kill on Alec.
Oh,
But the kill
he actually
goes
gets it.
through here. Monkeys is down.
Hemoplague, Ignite, and the time it takes to take it down. That is all Alec needs to get the kill. They run away here,
okay.
flashing away actually, Nihus does, and they are happy just getting the 1 kill and then walking away.
I'm actually excited to see now, because we see the rotation here into the mid lane with Croxy and Kidon now. So, yeah. Are they rotating back to top now that we can see that Ezreal, or aka Menjai, is alone in the top side? They are spotted by the ward here though, but is it going to be enough time for him to return? He does have the Iceborne Gauntlet, Frozen Fist here to give some slows, more utility.
And I don't think we've touched on how much, how stable I think Menjai has played in this series. He has been pretty comfortably farming up a Storm in all of the games, and in this one in particular, he has been up the entire game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they can put him in a position to carry in this game, because he has been doing that a lot in previous games. And in previous seasons and series for that matter, but it hasn't really shown that much. It's been more of the Rexon and Munkit's show so far.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
So let's see if he gets to shine in this game.
Yeah, and so far this Echo hasn't been. All right, let me see here. Close to combat as we might get in this game. Very cautious play from both of the teams. They're looking ever so slightly for proactive plays, but if it doesn't pay off immediately or they get the right rotation off without suspicion, they don't go for it. It says 4-1 on the scoreline, but it is Singularity still ahead with 1,000 gold, and that is because they've accumulated this gold lead in terms of CS difference, and it comes through in the bot lane, honestly, mostly, from yeah, the Alistar and the Ezreal here.
We see now also that Singularity is putting a lot of pressure on the top lane. And that could easily, if they get the tower, and possibly a fight here is about to start. Quickness going in here, and he's getting destroyed here, Monkeys, and a bigger fight is escalating onto the turret here. The Blade Caller is in here, and they flash into safety, trying to prevent it.
Alec coming in from the side.
Plague is being hit here, and it seems like Alistar is trying to prevent any further damage, but they keep going on, and Alec continues.
Great engage here from the side from Alex, like really collapsing on the lineup of Singularity, not having a chance in that moment. This not only gives them a lot of kills, a lot of momentum, and the gold lead onto themselves of Roligan, but also gives them a turret. This is really what they needed to get back into this game.
Yes, and it was only 1,000 gold deficit, but that's what they've gained for themselves now. They're approximately 1,000 gold ahead. It says 2-7. They get the Rift Herald off the back of it, and now Singularity, they're under pressure. Huge, huge fight for Roligan, and they just, they bide their time. They get the right angle on the fights, and that tower dive was not ideal for Singularity. I think they felt the need to push on and do something proactively, but they didn't manage to stick the landing, and that's why they're now behind. So
yeah, and it's 1,000 gold, and that actually escalated into them getting the Herald as well,
yeah, exactly.
which is gonna open up the map even further, even more.
Yeah, but it's honestly back to the point you said, Baldorian. This is a point in the game where they thought they had to do something top lane. They had to force a fight because they were getting to the point where Menjai had his Trinity Force. They got several items on their carries, like they had 1.5 items on most of their carries, and that meant that they thought they were strong. They had to force something, but they didn't really connect with the fight the way they wanted to, and with the flank from Alex cleaning up the fight, it just went haywire.
Yeah, it went haywire for them. They even up the gold now, and actually this game is honestly completely even. They look to turn it around and reply against Singularity here in the bottom lane, and they actually throw down the Rift Herald now, so that might look to be some sort of a base race. Singularity have to answer soon, I might add, and Monkeys is coming down to assist here, but I do think this might be the second tier turret going down as well.
I love the fact that they used the Herald in this scenario, because everybody was on the top side of the map, which gives them 2 turrets for free, mostly. So I think it's an excellent and a very smart way to actually use the Herald in this scenario, instead of actually just breaking it on mid, which we usually tend to see.
But there is also a reason why you usually do break it, the Rift Herald in the middle lane. It's because if you get the mid lane turret as one of the first ones, you get to open up the map further for your team. You get to go into the enemy jungle and play some deep wards and actually control more of the map. Right now they are in
Rexon going in.
Ooh, Kidon coming out here.
Oh my god.
A long one here, and Featherstorm actually, but not connecting, and Forge God is coming in the back. See if this goes out here,
everything.
And the Vanguard's edge is being missed
He
here
was
as well.
very
Coming
far.
under the tower here, and he's out! Kidon is trying it desperately here to save his teammates, but has to draw back here. And especially if lineups here is gonna go down here with the red smite from Tron.
Second time. This is the
second
time we see somebody dying off of the Ignite. People just walking away from the explosion with the sunglasses on, waiting for the kill to eventually happen. Great stuff. Engaged once again. They continuously look for these kills in the middle lane. They want the mid lane turret, and they're only going to get it if they get it on the backs of kills.
Yeah, and this is starting to look really scary for Singularity. I know they're pressuring right now, but this is a 4-0 to Vladimir on Alec. I know they missed a lot here. Nihus didn't look all too good in this particular fight on his Irelia. He's missed 2 Vanguard's edge in a row now. But if he manages to hit these things in combination, in unison with the Vladimir ulti, I don't see how Singularity stand a chance in these fights. They have so much burst. If they just get into contact with the Ezreal, with the Raxon Echo, or the Graves, they just get blown up.
Totally. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. Croxy SL with the Featherstorm as well, and then the Blade Caller effect with Kidon being able to gather them would make Alec able to do the perfect play as well, and it's gonna just blow him.
Oh, maybe Kidon might get blown here. Monkey's looking for him, definitely, but finds his way out, and then it's Tranen on the front line there. Oh, who's fighting
Edge here actually wants to go for the kill here. Linux is actually in trouble. Nothing he can do. A solid one-on-one here from News.
And this is just what happens with Irelia when she gets these 2 kills. She gets the Trinity Force, and then she just abuses the lane she's up against one-on-one in the top lane. In this case, in the bot lane, doesn't matter. They have TPs. They can join the fight around the Baron, and if they can get to kill each other, then they really do it.
Yeah, and Nihus once again, I know he's missed a couple of Vanguard's edges in the last couple of times. When it's a 1 versus 1, it's easier to hit, and with a target like Ornn, he's certainly...
Oh, Tron here is in trouble. He's betting, trying to get out though.
Have him out? I actually think they wanted that fight if they were about to chase some more. And Roligan, they're
But they really didn't have the vision to commit on that situation. They saw the Vladimir, Alec being close by, and they knew that if more people were around, they would get killed outright. They were only 3 people, and wise decision to back off, even though it was actually a favorable one for them.
It was definitely a favorable one for them, and now they've set their sights on Alex Vladimir to split push, but he joins back in the mid lane. Look now, there's a teleport coming in here from
Monkey's
Nihus.
here, and the teleport as well. Forge God is
he
being
cancels the
challenged,
teleport.
and there's
No,
a
wait.
double knock up here, and Alec is being blown to the back, but also with the Plague here, getting a humongous amount of health back, while the rest of the team here
Rexon in
from
trouble.
Roligan doing wonders on Rexon.
Alec
2-man
can't
down
die.
here, and Alec, I was about to say, can't die. He has so much sustain.
And look at this. All 5 members of Roligan is still alive. They get 2 kills only for their ultimates, for their summoner spells, and now they get a Baron.
They do get a Baron, and they're starting to look like a finals team here, because if they win this one, as we said before, this is going to be Roligan in the final. They're looking to push down this Baron, and uncontested, I might add. That's 5 people with Baron. That's a gold lead that amounts to approximately 5,000 after this Baron going down. They're going to go back, they're going to buy their items, and then they're going to push forward for the victory in this game.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen when Alec get back in lane now. When he's done buying, and he actually has 10 stacks on his Dark Shield as well. If he keeps up the work that he does now, it might actually even be worth getting Magi's Soul Stealer.
And this is the point where it gets kind of annoying for the Roligan team that they didn't get this mid turret, because they would have to use a lot of their time with this Baron buff killing these outer turrets now. And even though we saw it in the earlier game that they could close out the game at 24 minutes, they're not going to be able to this time around unless they get a clean ace.
Indeed, yeah. It really looks like an uphill battle for Singularity. We've talked a little bit about it. They did have the lead in this game. They looked a little bit more solid. But again, how much of a meta champion is Echo right now? What are the
Oh, the combo coming in here, and Alec is
dies!
out of the picture. Quickness coming in here and connecting with a lot of people here, and a really good Featherstorm, including a Blade Caller rooting for people. The engage keeps going on here. Vanguard's Edge is connecting together with a good push up here onto Tran. Wanted to jump out here, being protected by Kirun on Rakan.
It ends up being a 2-for-2 in this fight here, even though the carries go down rather quickly. And this is a good fight. This is a good showing from Singularity. They needed it a bit earlier, but Rexon gets a really, really good stun off, and they get to chunk out and kill instantaneously the biggest threat from Roligan, Alec and his Vladimir. I don't think they're going to get a lot of these kinds of fights, so, you know...
But this is only like putting up a stop sign at an intersection. This is only going to slow down the Roligan team. It was a great fight, and it's what they need, but it's more of these fights that they need to put up.
Yeah, they have to put up several of these fights.
Because they are so far behind at the moment that killing 2 of the carries is not enough. There's still 2 more to overcome in the team fight. Both Nihus and Sranen, as we saw, really just killed people after the first engage.
Yeah.
And the gold difference haven't changed. So even though they actually got the kills and they even got a shutdown, they're still 5,000 behind, even more at this point.
But more importantly, the Baron buff got delayed. These minions are not going to help them as much with fewer members with the Baron buff. And they had to push back the minions, which means that Roligan now has to push back all these minions and all this advantage that just built up.
Yeah, agreed. And well, that stalls out the game a little bit. It's going to be nice to see what it turns out to be. Right now, Roligan is moving up their vision line. They're conga lining the minions in towards the base. We have Nihus in the bot lane, and they get what they came after before, the tier 2 turret in the mid lane, and they get the inhibitor turret as well.
That's actually a really good question, because I think they actually got the tools to do so, because we've seen what Alec can do. He was being caught off guard in the last fight and got blown up by everything they possibly had. Singularity. So if they are not going to be able to do that again, that's going to turn the tides.
It might just do that as well, gentlemen. They get the 1 turret. I'm not sure they're going to get more. They do have a lot of great wave clear on the side of Singularity, and let's see what happens now when the conga lining minions come in. Rexon keeps zoning them off with the potential Echo stun, and that, my friends, is that.
Yeah, they kind of trying the same thing over and over again since it's been working all this time. But now it's kind of different because they're at the inner turrets.
Neos might be in trouble.
Oh, yeah, we see Neos is in trouble here and connecting with the Forge God ultimate here. Vanguard is coming in, but he is done so. But in the meantime, in the top lane as well, is being shoved in and sieged.
Yeah, but that's not gonna change much because this turret was gonna die no matter what. And getting a kill onto the top laner that is split pushing against you is really a good step in the right direction towards defending the base.
Oh, the dive is coming in here. Two-man play coming in here. And Arcane Barrage is tickling on top of Alec while we see Alistar is trying to move back. The counter-attack is not going to be enough here. We can see the knock-up here, and Kirin is desperately trying to keep Tran alive. He's going to die here, being sniped by the Mystic Shot, and they want to fight. They got blood on their teeth. Desperately trying to get back here and getting a good route onto Lineups.
Yeah, and a bit too offensive from Roligan here. Vladimir, or Alec, actually flashes in beyond the turret line here. He ends up...
Oh, be careful here, coming too close to Alec here. The TP is being channeled, and we see Monkeys coming in here, but he's low. But there's a two-man stun here from Raxon. There are three people going down here for one. Goss is desperately trying to survive here, getting a good Blade Caller in. Might want to... It could rescue his life here.
This is an absolute insane statement from Raxon. The way he's hitting those stuns, they're crucial for the turnaround ability for this Singularity team. They're now only approximately 5,000 gold behind. It says 10 to 14. And I'm sorry, but they're actually looking to be back in this game.
Yeah, they are definitely.
They are definitely back with the momentum. They just won, not one, not two, but 3 huge fights. And that means that they are now on the map. They are now out taking turrets. They're getting gold, and they are shoring up that this fight is not over yet.
And they give a good fighting for it. Like, they're really fighting for it. And they show, as Beldorian mentioned earlier, on Raxon's Echo, is the best possibly champion that he can play, and he shows it.
This is a game, ladies and gentlemen, where we got ourselves a game on our hands here. And now, well, it's interesting to see what kind of compositional advantages we have now, because it's hard to tell which of these two compositions actually has the favor in the late game. I wouldn't say Echo scales well into the late game, but the way Raxon plays it, oh my god.
We might not even get to find out. Under 1 minute on the Baron clock means that the dinner bell is rung and that the fight is going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
These two teams need to let either the Baron happen in case of Roligan or fight about it. And that means that we get to see the game going towards either side. We could potentially see a huge fight around this Baron area. And right now, it's the vision control that matters most.
I'm curious to see. I'm sorry. I'm very curious to see if this Baron fight actually pops up or if it's going to be delayed, because both Lineups and News does not have TP either, and they're in the bot side of the map.
Yeah, they're just waiting and farming away down there. Nihus has the priority in that lane, though. He is a 100 CS ahead. He has flamed, actually more than 100 CS ahead of his opponent. So he's flame horizoned his opponent in Lineups here. And, well, Lineups is just, all right, he's satisfied with farming under his turret and not going out as far as to enable this Irelia to get the 1 versus 1, which is, of course, nice. And in that regard, it means that Roligan get the priority over the Baron vision, and they push to set it up for themselves, but do they have the balls to actually go for this Baron right now? I don't think it's the time after the last 3 fights.
It's going to be dangerous here for Singularity to go out here and peek and see where Roligan might be hiding. Because if they step wrong, if they decide to enter the wrong brush, they get caught out, they die.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just standing here like nodding my head along, because this is a tense moment. We talked about it during the start of the game, but it's really tense now that both teams are really looking for that one fight.
They're looking for a mistake from the opponents here, and they're looking to punish on that said mistake. And right now, it might just be Nihus making the mistake here.
Coming in here and connecting with it, being stunned, actually gets out of it. but the Vanguard's edge is being connected.
Flash is out!
Dodging the Chrome Break here. Ends up dying though, but insane mechanics and dodging skills here from Neos.
Yeah, but look at this now. Raxon gets the recall, and he has to
Oh,
teleport.
engaged possibilities here from the quickness. Coming in, Flash Ignite connecting, and Croxy is devastating Menjai, and the same goes for Gilintha.
Yeah, they get the shutdown onto the bot lane. They get the kills onto the carry, and they get to start up Baron once again.
Yeah, and lo and behold, Raxon is
Alec
coming
here
out.
is being
Oh
low
my
here, but
God,
we see the
he is
re-engage here.
doing so
Good
much damage.
combo Reno here we see from Roligan, dominating a double kill going into Croxy, and back to the Baron.
Yeah, and after a long, really positive sequence of plays for Singularity, they look to drop the ball here, and it's going to be exciting if Raxon, no, I don't think Raxon is going to contest this Baron, and they get their second Baron of the game, this Roligan lineup, and maybe they are a bit more cautious in the way they use it this time around.
What a bloody Baron dance if I've ever seen one. Not even a dance really, they just went at it. And they got what they came for. They got to kill this Singularity lineup. But it was necessary for Singularity. They needed to do something about that situation. And they got to delay it a little bit, but now they are facing off against the 5-member Baron once again.
Yeah, and this time around it's actually 8,000 gold. We are later into the game, so it's almost 34 minutes into the game. I'd say this is the latest we've been in any of the series today, to be honest. And, well, it just speaks volumes about what sort of game we've been having here. It's very serious for both teams, but right now Roligan looks like the winning side, and it has to be some sort of Raxon outplay that comes into
We might see it here.
Oh, Forge Guard here is misses.
Wide
We see
miss.
Tron here dodges the engage here from Lenos, but
Right
straight
into the stun.
into the stun
No!
here from Raxon. And we see him being pulled back, popped off. Alec is down. Still
Look at
having
Raxon!
Ignite up here. He keeps going on here. Triple kill. Keeps going. Kieran is desperately trying to keep or stick to himself here and survive in the blue side jungle, or red side, I'm sorry. But watching meanwhile in the bot lane here, Neos is doing his magic.
Yeah,
He's,
and that's the only thing he can do right now, because they just died, all three of them. He's
Baron.
the only carry left with the support backup, and now they're just barreling down mid lane.
And my
Singularity
God,
going for the inhib.
Raxon is carrying this game off of his goddamn back right now. They look to be the first one to actually get an inhibitor. There's still 15 seconds before Alec comes back, and he's the first of them. They might look
Can
to...
they-
Okay, that might be a bit too...
Oh,
Can
the
they stop
TP
the
here.
TP?
Can they now stop it?
Oh, they didn't. That is crucial for this Roligan team, that they did not get stopped in this TP, and they get to defend the base. Now they respawn all of them, and now they have to reevaluate how they approach this space of Singularity.
Yeah, certainly. Now there is the potential of actually ending the game off of a one-team fight, and if Raxon gets to do what he did this team fight as well, my God, he's playing like a beast. He gets a triple kill. He hesitates merely... Well, he doesn't hesitate at all whatsoever. He flashes in behind with this amount of HP. You can't see, but it's very low. And he gets in, he gets the carries off of the back of Roligan, and he honestly wins the fight on his own.
And he does it.
Entirely.
He does it against a team that is not only ahead, but is a composition that is based on 3 to 4 late game carries.
Yeah. And all of them are actually synergizing as well very well. The Sire Rakan, Alec itself with the engagement, the quickness from on Rakan, and the counter attack from Tran on Jax and so forth. And he still keeps going for it. And he just shows that Echo is just the one.
And we need to remember as well that this is twice now that Nihus has overextended in the bot side, gotten killed to the point where he almost got a kill last time, but still he got killed. And then in that situation, the rest of the team can't really press the advantage as much. So they need to change up their playstyle, or at least find a way to make this one work.
Yeah, indeed, they have to look for other avenues now, and honestly, I think it might just be better for Roligan to wait it out a little bit, wait for the inhibitor to come back up. They have not itemized for magic resist. You see some of the items beginning to come in now, but it is obvious which person is the carry, the prime carry for Singularity right now. So when they get some more magic resist, I do feel they can sustain themselves or peel for themselves a little bit better in these fights and be a little bit more, I wouldn't say greedy, but offensive in the way that they play.
Spirit Visage just picked up on the Jax as well,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
as you're saying it. This is the kind of thing you need to evaluate which threat is the biggest one to me right now, and in this case it's Raxon. He is just the man of the hour right now.
He is, and he's been landing crucial stuns, getting the right targets down, and you really get to see why this is his prime champion. Yeah, good stuff out of the mid laner from Singularity.
This is definitely his prime time as well, because he's really showing off. And the same goes for, like you mentioned, like the magic resistance. They haven't prioritized it. Think about the E.
They are now.
Yeah, the E Leechbane effect when it procs with the passive. It's a burst you just can't imagine if you don't have anything to protect yourself.
Yeah, and look at Croxy. He has no defensive items because, yeah,
Exactly.
I have the safety of my Featherstorm, but Raxon honestly says that is bull. And then he just goes in behind on the back line after the Featherstorm has been proc, and then he gets his target. So if I was Roligan right now, I would probably try to focus out the ultimate from Raxon, get him as the prime target to knock down and not get caught in these stuns that we tend to see land. Very well executed by Raxon indeed, but still it seems like it's a repeat trick, and there's not a lot coming from the other carries here from Singularity. Of course, it is a late game Ezreal, it is a late game Echo, and they tend to hurt.
How they do?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how great. Oh, let's see here.
Forge
Engage.
got here. They want to go on
Featherstorm
here.
right away.
And
That seems
Arn
like it
keeps
was for
going in
free.
here, and the Featherstorm connects here. Two-man knock-up, and Plague goes in here with Kidon trying to protect it with the Vanguard's edge.
It is a
connected.
massive fight
But
we're seeing here.
There is two people going down here from Singularity, and they got blood on their hands. They want to go on.
What an absolutely enormous fight. They all just grouped up in the middle of the mid lane and just went at it once again. This is crazy how they just throw out everything in their kit at each other. And in the end, this time around, it's Roligan that gets out with the lead.
They come out ahead. I was a bit worried when I saw the early Featherstorm. I thought that was the key component for Raxon to actually excel in the fight. But he throws it out immediately, and the other guys get to actually execute properly on the fight. They don't get to end the game, though.
That Mystic shot, though, on Croxy from Menjai. 1/3 of the health from 1Q.
Yeah, and that's one of the crucial things as well, that even though they get 2 kills and win the fight, they did it so far back on the map that they had to run a really long way to get to the base.
Yeah.
And when they got there, they noticed that it was only the tank and the support that they actually killed. So all the carriers were still left on this Singularity lineup,
All the
able
danger.
to both clear out the wave and protect the turrets.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, that just extends the game a little bit further now. They get the inhibitor as their own response. And, well, I'm sorry, but 14 seconds and then the Baron spawns again. Will they make it a third Baron for Roligan? It seems unlikely that Singularity will go along with those terms willingly, but they don't have the best track record in this game with the Baron. Tan is on the side here, but the trap does not spring in the favor of Singularity. And now they get the inside track on the mid lane here.
This Baron could easily be the game Baron, easily, because we have like 2 open inhibs, and one of them is down. So, and if they result in one big team fight here, the team losing the fight could potentially be losing the game as well.
I think it comes down to one big fight either way now.
Exactly.
Whoever wins the next fight in a handedly fashion to get more than 2 kills, I think it's probably going to be game. But we're gonna have to wait to see. It's going back and forth. It is a seesaw between these 2 teams, and they're both in it still.
They definitely are. This is more of the usual Baron ends we get to see in the longer games, and this time around it's Singularity walking up to clear out some vision. We will be surely be seeing Roligan either going for that again shortly, or perhaps pushing mid lane. No, they want to get this vision back in their control, and this is the typical thing you see from the team in control.
As well, I just want to mention that we noticed that Lineups
Oh,
here,
they're
going at the Baron here, and they need help. They need to
Oh,
excel,
is this
and
the
they need
stun?
to react here. Coming in here, connecting with the
Now,
stun here.
ulti out.
Chrome break, back out here from Raxon.
And that is very vital to this fight. This fight could go Roligan's way now.
Oh, Forge God coming in here from the back. Multiple people here is being knocked off. And a big knock-off coming in here from Linux. And we're seeing the background here. Alec is doing his magic, trying Hourglass.
Double kill for Cruxy.
2 kills going down here to Cruxy, and it keeps pushing further. Counter-attack connects here from Tran, and we're back to Baron.
And they go to Baron!
And it's still just the tanks that go down. None of the carries from Singularity go down, and we have the second sequence coming up right now.
But this time they're not at their own base, they're
It's
at the
alone.
Baron, and Singularity is 3 against 5. If they want to contest this,
Monkeys
they have
is
to
gonna-
move into the pit.
Monkey's gonna have to try to do it here. Vanguard's Edge connected.
Oh, it's already up again,
And
the
Chrome
ultimate.
Break is back here, but the Baron is secured, and Monkeys must lay his life back in the graveyard.
Such an important fight around the Baron. They do get it. Roligan secures the 3rd Baron of the game. They can rotate down, get this Elder Drake. With 3 Drakes already, it's sure to be a very dangerous one. Buff this one. And with those 2 buffs, they surely should be able to finish out the game. But we've seen a lot of different things happen this game, and I'm not hatching my eggs just quite yet.
Not quite yet, Storm. Indeed. A massively tense fight. You don't quite know where it's gonna go. It looks like he gets the perfect knockoff from Linups here in this fight, but it's not enough. There's no follow-up, and they turn it around with a double kill, turn it into a Baron, and I'm quite surprised, actually, that the Chrono Break comes up as soon as it does. It's really low cooldown at this point, but we are in the late game, ladies and gentlemen. 43 minutes into the game, and now they have the 2 buffs from Roligan's side. Historically, in this game, they haven't been able to pull it off and utilize these buffs, but now might be as good a time as any.
As well, when you see the fight in the top lane as well, with Alec, he's able to prevent all the damage by using the blood pool so that he's not being stopped. And he's able to, just by himself, zoning out all the carries, so only the tanks are in the front alone, trying to handle the rest of the team from Roligan, and they die.
And look at this new tool they have. They have the inhibitor already, which means that they can push the wave without sending Nihus down there to die. And that may just be the key winning factor that gets them into the base.
But look at the wave clear here. They barely touched upon the turret here. That's what happened the 2 last times they had the Baron, and they haven't gotten any further still. So they have to look proactively for a tower dive, I feel.
It's a good poke here from Linux, though. Being able to trade sort of one-way trade here with Tran.
Actually, sorry to interrupt there, an inhibitor just spawned in the bottom lane, so now they might look to the open inhibitor instead of meekly trying to push it down in the middle lane here. I wouldn't want to gamble with these things, so if I was Roligan right now, if I were Roligan the team in its entirety, I would go bot lane, just go for the...
Ooh, possibly fight here.
Definitely still looking for the outplay engage here, but don't quite seem to find it. We do have to remember that this is not only a Baron Dub team, but also an Elder Drake team. They have a lot of damage in this kit.
Oh, the fight's going on here, and the hard engage. Vanguard's Edge, Forge God as well.
Nobody dies.
Everything is being blown up here. Kidron is out of the picture, and the same goes for
Rexon.
Alistar. And there is
Triple
a
kill.
triple kill coming in here in the back. While we see News trying to take down Menjai going down here, popping the GA. But meanwhile, we see them going for the next
This might be Roligan ending the game here.
Plague being popped here. Giving the subs. They're not going to be there in time.
And that's
Monkeys
the
are getting
game!
it, but
That
the
is the
game
game.
is being finished 3-1 to Roligan.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
We got ourselves a howler in the last one, the last game of the evening. It turns out to be a 3-1 victory on the back of an impressive game from both teams here between Singularity and Roligan. My God.
What a nail biter.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
nail biter.
It was tense from the get-go, and when we just thought that this is for sure Roligan's game, they just drew it out. This Singularity lineup, they just kept finding the picks, the fights, and the way to extend the game. What an impressive game.
Really, like 45 minutes, 3 Barons,
Yeah.
1 Elder Drake, and 3 Ocean Dragons on Roligan. And even though they were still cautious to pushing, even though they had both buffs at the same time in the mid lane, because they knew they had to respect the engage options that Singularity had. So they weren't able to just force it.
No, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've found our second finalist. Roligan get to go to the final, the grand final tomorrow being played at 7 o'clock. And the third place match is going to be between Supernova and Singularity tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Impressive stuff, to be honest. Roligan, they were in the finals last year as well, where they lost out to Singularity. I'm actually excited to see what they might be able to do to contest with this let's call it highly esteemed favorite in Good Game Esports. But they certainly had a lot of neat tricks, and I would say the only redeeming quality in Singularity's game tonight was Raxon, and they have to, be carried off of his back tomorrow if they should take the third place match.
Yeah, he looked outstanding. Like, especially when we see one of the fights with the triple kill. Like, I would basically say it was almost 3 solo kills just in a row, popping in like you said, Baldorin, flashing in, waiting for the Feather Storm, just. It was like slice and dice.
Yeah,
just went through.
There's way too many big highlight plays in this game to just go through them all. So
really?
I'm just gonna give a shout out to both teams for a great series. It was a lot of fun to watch, and just tune in tomorrow as well for some really epic fights. I'm sure we're gonna get. This is going to be not only the third place match, but the finals as well.
Yeah, and just before we tune out here, I just want to underline the fact that so far I'm the only one who's guessed the series right here, 3-1 to Roligan. So thank you, Roligan, for cementing my stature currently. We'll see tomorrow who gets out ahead there. But for the guys and the girls out there who tuned in to watch the games tonight, we appreciate you all ever so dearly, and we hope you will tune in tomorrow at 3 o'clock when we're going to be showing the third, fourth place match between Supernova and Singularity, and tomorrow where the grand final is going to be played between Good Game Esports and Roligan Esports. For now, have a nice evening, sleep tight, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.